It's a WNBA All-Star matchup in the Lone Star State as the league just announced Chicago Sky point guard Courtney Vandersloot, all-time great Candace Parker, and the team's leading scorer Kalia Copper will join Dallas Wings guard Arike Ogunbowale and second-year forward Satu Sabali in next month's All-Star game in Los Angeles. Tonight, they tangle in Texas. Welcome to the College Park Center as the Chicago Sky, winners of 7 of the last 8 games, face the Dallas Wings, who have won 6 of their last 10. Take a look at the standings. Seattle still on top. The Sky a half a game better than the Wings, who are looking to go over 500 on the season. Hello again, everybody, along with former WNBA player and current TCU women's head basketball coach Reagan Peebley. I'm Ron Thulin. As the league heads toward the Olympic break, which will come after the July 11th game, every team in the league wants to finish with a big push. Yeah, we saw in those standings how important this push is going to be, especially for these two teams tonight. You can see with the Sky and with the Wings, a win or a loss in either direction can send you from 4th to 2nd, or you can see yourself out of playoffs. Absolutely. Now, Arike Ogunbowale of Dallas was named to the All-Star team today. Doesn't make up for the fact that she didn't make the Olympic team, but last game she came out with a vengeance. I don't think we needed a poll or a vote to tell us that Arike is an all-star. She has been playing this season with a fire in her belly. Her ability to not just score but also create assists for this team is pretty phenomenal. Now, speaking of assists, we got to talk about Courtney Vandersloot, who's going to be leading the charge for the Chicago Sky. She's leading the league in assists at 8.5 per game, and she's surrounded by a bunch of scorers that Dallas is going to need to figure out how to stop. Well, let's take a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for Chicago, Candace Parker missed 8 games with an ankle injury, but with her in the starting 5, the team is 8-1. And of course, you see Copper and also Vandersloot, the All-Stars. For Dallas, Wings trying to get their second 3-game win streak of the season. They'll use a lot of players. No one on the team is in the top 20 as far as minutes played. And the head coach of the Chicago Sky, head coach James Wade, in his 3rd year, 10th year overall in the league. WNBA Coach of the Year in 2019. 1 win away from the second most by the Sky coach. Stephen Key had 42. Pokey Chapman leads it with 106. And in her first year with the Dallas Wings, Vicki Johnson, 13 years in the WNBA, a member of Louisiana Tech Hall of Fame, 2-time WNBA All-Star, first New York player to score 2,000 points. And let's take a look at Reagan's keys to the games tonight. Well, let's talk about Chicago first. They need to turn down the turnovers. They had way too many for their liking in their previous game against Washington. They also need to get out to the open court. They're 9-3 when they can outplay their opponents in transition. So good in the open court. Now, Dallas, be the aggressor. Be the first to throw the punch. When Chicago leads in the first quarter, they're 7-2. And then also, we know Dallas can really light it up from the 3-point line. They're getting a ton of scoring, almost a third of their scoring from the 3-point line. Let's see if they can open that paint up tonight for the 3. You talk about getting a fast start. Talking to Vicki Johnson this week on Zoom calls, and she said the common denominator in their last 2 wins, they got off to big starts. Shot clock at 5. Arike lets it fly, front of the rim. Satu fights for it, comes up into the hands of Diamond DeShields. Having a whale of a year off the bench, 13 games last season, was an All-Star in 2019. Here's DeShields' 4th 3 and knocks down only her 4th of the year. Well, this is her best season so far, shooting from that 3-point line, 39% from the field goal, but 35 from the 3, and that's a part of her growth of her game. Whistle and an offensive foul. That'll be on Mariah Jefferson. Well, Coach Wade said earlier yesterday, he said, you know, we had a dud game in the last contest versus Connecticut. They're trying to get more flow on offense. I think that's part of the reason why Dallas needs to come out so aggressive, so that you can make sure that Chicago's not feeling like it was a dud and it's more of something of a trend. But this start for Chicago, as we see Stephanie Dolson find her way to the rim and kind of laughing about it all the way down the court, is one that I know James Wade has to be happy with. Charlie Collier bit on that fake. That's going to be a foul, and it should be on Diamond DeShields, and it will be. Stephanie Dolson, you and I were talking before the game. You talk about most improved players. Obviously, Marina Mabry is at the head of that class, and we'll have a feature on her coming up at halftime. But Stephanie Dolson is also having an outstanding year.
Stephanie Dolson's confidence has got to be at an all-time high with the opportunity that she's worked hard for. So we see a great diamond dish, and Charlie just not find the finish that she needs to find. But yeah, Stephanie in the 3-on-3 team, that's something that I think has got to be helping her confidence.
Mariah Jefferson knocks down to 3. No points the last 2 games, 0 for 5 shooting. Positive sign for the Dallas Wings. DeShields tries to answer. Jefferson pulls it away. Dallas wants to push it also, just like Chicago.
Yeah, both of these teams love to create a lot of possessions. They don't spend a lot of time with the ball on their offensive end before they get a shot off.
Last touch by Satu Sabali. It'll be Chicago's basketball. As mentioned, they're 8-1 with Parker in the lineup, 1-7 when she's not playing. They have balanced scoring. I mean, you look at across the board, Copper only 13.9, everybody else in that range. Candace Parker off the glass.
We've seen 3 Sky players already find an opportunity to score, and really fairly uncontested.
Kayla Thornton gives it up. Jefferson again for 3, this time off the mark, and Parker, 2-time MVP and All-Star again this season, pulls the rebound down. Beautiful no-look pass, and the reverse layup by Copper.
That's going on a highlight reel right there. Just the great athleticism. One of the best athletes in the league, as we say, or see Dallas wanting to spend a few minutes and talk about this start.
One thing Vicki Johnson does is she will call a timeout on a defensive lapse. But what a play by Kalia Copper. The pass from Parker, Copper the reverse. Chicago by 6.
Kalia Copper, she's also known as KFC, Kalia freaking Copper. She's now also an all-star, finds her first 2 points of the game, and I think that's probably not going to be the last 2 points of this game for her.
Copper's number, she has thrived as a starter, an all-star for the first time. When you talk to Coach Wade about her, he said she is the heart and soul of this team. You know, the last couple of days talking to some of the Sky players via Zoom, and they all said, people asking who do you think is going to make the All-Star team? Everybody said Copper's got to be on it.
She had to be, and her teammates absolutely supported her. And Enrique, how about Enrique's aggressiveness? This team goes how Enrique goes to start the game. That when she comes out aggressive, whether she makes it or not, the Dallas Wings team follows her. And Stephanie Dolson is firing from that 3-point line. You and I both talked about she hasn't made a lot of them, but she's shooting them like she has.
Well, that was her 100th career 3-pointer made. Last 5 games, she was only 2 of 7 from beyond the arc. And, of course, Stephanie Dolson got to pair up with Dallas Wings' Alicia Gray, Kelsey Plum, Katie Lou Sanderson to make the Olympic 3x3 team. And that's going to be fun to watch this Olympics.
It is, and it's pretty cool that it's the first one. No one's ever going to be able to take that USA off their chest, right? But now you're also going to be able to say that you were on the very first one.
3 by Satu, no. Kayla Thornton just pulls her way in for the rebound. Sabali just trips, lost the handle into the hands of Dolson. Sky leaded by 7. Jefferson.
They might want to switch this ball out. It's just been a little bit antsy to it. The players have had a little bit of a hard time grabbing onto it. The bounces have been a little funky.
Parker slipped the double team, lost the handle. And I think they're going to say it may be Chicago's ball. Our officials tonight, Roy Gilbey and Tiffany Bird. And I think there was some discussion, Tony Polita.
Well, it's one of those one-way discussions that I often have with my kids where I'm telling them something, but they're not listening. And Candace Parker is very assertive that this should not be Dallas's ball.
Enrique over the outstretched hands of Allie Quigley, can't get it to drop. Talking to Vicki Johnson, said that Enrique Ogabowale is on a mission this year. Dolson, oh man, almost made lemonade out of that. And Enrique cannot believe it. The foul's going to be called on Mariah Jefferson. That'll be her second.
Well, I don't think that Enrique's not the only one that can't believe it. I don't know that Stephanie Dolson can believe that she got this shot off. And it's an awful foul for Dallas to commit. Get the job done on the boards. Don't let her get a second chance opportunity. Make her finish that, and don't put her to the free throw line.
This is only her 5th free throw attempt of the year, and she's now 5 of 5. Well, Ty Harris is going to come into the lineup for the Dallas Wings, number 52, the 23-year-old in her second year out of South Carolina. Also checking in Alicia Gray. And Alicia Gray, the last couple of games, last 3 games to be exact, has caught fire for the Wings. Shooting had been struggling.
I think Alicia Gray caught a little heat, as well as Vicki Johnson, in those first few games returning from 3-on-3 competition. But again, I said this before and I still stand by it. She deserved some time to find her flow and her rhythm, not just into a 5-on-5, but how about just with her new team?
Exactly.
And this team was able to compete together and play together and practice together and find a rhythm and a flow, and she was expected to come right in and as if no time had taken off at all.
And you know, Vicki Johnson said her expectations for herself are higher than any of us have. Out front, Copper gives it up. Quigley can't get it to go. Wings have an opportunity to cut into this league. There you saw the defense of Copper. She is tenacious on D. Gray. Air ball into the hands of Dolson. Here comes Copper pushing it. Dolson again for 3. Hits her second of the ball game.
The three-point line is not an area Dallas can afford Chicago to get confident on. It's not an area that they've really performed incredibly well from, and they're going to need to keep them cooled off. Alicia Gray starting to find her aggressive scoring, and I love that she continues to shoot even though she hasn't necessarily found the best rhythm yet.
Vandersloot gets cut off. Parker being guarded by Sabali. The veteran, tough fall away shot. Enrique pulls it away. Down by 10, tried to thread the needle into Sabali, taken away. Quigley, rejected by Izzy Harrison.
Telling you, something's up with that ball today.
Yeah.
Just at the rim, point blank layups being missed. You see the deflections all over the floor.
Well, Vandersloot is number 2 in the league in steals, pokes that away, leads to the 2. You know, you talk about Courtney Vandersloot and everybody goes, well, of course she's great in assists. She's number 2 in free throw percentage and number 2 in steals in the league.
I think this is one of Courtney Vandersloot's best years, and she's got to be somebody that people are talking a lot about when you even have conversations about MVPs. And I know she's not the obvious choice in that area. She may not be my first vote, but she needs to be in the discussion. And you and I discussed, if you put Courtney Vandersloot in place of Sue Bird, this is a big if, right? A big scenario. And the type of players that over Sue Bird's career she's been surrounded by, I wonder if you'd see as many medals and as many accolades around Courtney Vandersloot's neck. This is, I think, one of the most talented teams that she's had surrounding her, and it's part of why you're seeing this success that not just Courtney's having, but the Chicago Sky.
Marina Mabry, Bella Allery checking in for Dallas. Allery shot off the mark. Ruthie Heber's also checked in for Chicago. Number 24, the second-year pro out of Oregon. It's a battle of the benches. You know, you talked to Azurá Stevens earlier today, and she says, we have the best bench in the WNBA. Talk to Dallas players, they say they have the best bench in the league.
Well, Azure's coming off the bench for Chicago, so I think she needs to have that kind of confidence in their bench. But yeah, these two benches are very productive for their teams and have been a big part of getting them to where they're at, 4th and 5th in the standings. DeShields
is guarding Mabry. Alicia Gray opened up. Can't get it. Parker pulls down the rebound. Her 3rd already in the ball game. Vandersloot faked the pass, took the 3 and nailed it. The 4th from beyond the arc for Chicago.
Watch how much Chicago utilizes Allie Quigley in off-ball screening action. And that sets her up for such good situations that forces defenses to have to over-rotate in spaces. We see her right here, setting a ball screen, receiving a flare screen into that curl action. And again, over-rotation by the defense creates an open look for Ruthie Hebert.
Mabry gives it up to Harris. Wings down by 15 here in the early going. Allery on the drive, wild shot. Rebounded by Parker again, and Parker will lead the break. Got to cover up Quigley immediately. Vandersloot look for somebody to pass it to. Oh, dumps it. That's beautiful. Into Hebert.
I've said this often about Courtney Vandersloot. Her layers of vision are the best that I've seen to play the women's game or the men's game, really. And as the court shortens for her, her vision widens. So many other players, their vision narrows as the court shortens. And we can see her right now just scanning the court. She's patient, she's poised, drops dimes. Pretty special. 6th assist here in the first quarter for Courtney Vandersloot. 10 or more assists 4 of the past 6 games, and she's headed to make it 5 of 7. That is just fun to watch. Mabry catch, shoot, miss, and Wings are settling for jump shots again. They wanted to drive and then kick coming into this game. Sloot again. This time rejected. Mabry comes out of the pack, 2-on-2. And Quigley will foul Marina Mabry. I think that foul by Quigley was as much about getting a whistle so people can get a breath. But Courtney Vandersloot, I don't know that she needs many breaths.
Right.
She's playing this game just so second skin. She's got eyes on the side of her head, back of her head, and her teammates know it, and they're going to move off the ball for her to make decisions easy.
Wings got to get something going the final 70 seconds here in the opening quarter. It has been all Chicago. Mabry, Hebert jumps out on her. Gray on the drive to the hole, breaks the scoring drought.
A great way to break a scoring drought is attack the rim. Don't settle for contested perimeter jump shots.
That's what Vicki Johnson wanted the Wings to do from the get-go. Hebert on the drive over Allery for the lay-in.
Very porous defense out of Dallas. And
big time.
I mean, with that porous, you can hear the word poor in there, but they've got to really commit to that defensive end and the work that it's going to take to contest and rotate off the ball.
19-point lead for Chicago, biggest of the ball game. Mabry gives it up. Izzy Harrison inside with a left-handed lay-in.
Attacking the rim is going to get you places, and it's going to get you points.
Shot clock turned off, final 10 seconds here in quarter number 1. A win for Dallas puts them over 500. A win by Chicago puts them up a game and a half on Dallas as Quigley with the deuce. Wings should get at least one more shot. Mabry at the buzzer. Doesn't get it. Chicago on fire, shooting 63% of the opening quarter. 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. With 3 All-Stars on their team, they lead by 19 at the end of 1. Well, let's take a look at the upcoming national TV schedule. Coming up next at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, Minnesota and Phoenix. And a doubleheader Friday beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern. These same 2 teams will meet again at the College Park Center. Chicago and Dallas, followed at 10 o'clock by Las Vegas and the Sparks. And NBA TV Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Connecticut and Indiana. How about this game? We've got 2 of Dan Hughes' former assistants, obviously James Way, Vicki Johnson. In the next game, following this on CBS Sports Network, 2 more of his assistants.
That's a pretty good note right there that you found.
I think Dan gave it to me.
Well, I mean, honestly, we can't say enough about the impact that Dan Hughes has had on this game, and we see it all across the league and the players and the championships he's won, but it's also in the coaching tree that he's established, and it's phenomenal. His legacy is strong in the WNBA.
Azrae Stevens has checked into the lineup, played 2 years for the Dallas Wings. She's on some minute restrictions because of the knee surgery she had last September.
These 2 teams really, I think, match up to each other well. And it'll be a task for both teams to see in the switching situations that they get into, can they sustain their defensive effort and game plan retention as they get into all those rotations.
7 turnovers now for the Dallas Wings early on in this ball game. Here is Dana Evans, started this year with the Dallas Wings, was released, signed by Chicago. Azurá Stevens inside off the glass.
I'll tell you, lately, I think Chicago's done a nice job with Azurá Stevens closer to the rim. She's been productive there.
Yeah.
Sometimes Azurá can get away from the physical element of this game and start to be more of a face-up 4 and 5, but she can do some damage in back-to-the-basket situations.
Evans very slick on the outside. Beautiful pass to Hebert on the inside. 13 assists on 14 baskets made by Chicago here in the early going. The 3. That may have put a crack in the backboard. Quigley gives it up. Inside, counted. DeShields, great move.
Diamond DeShields has done such an amazing job as she's developed. You just see how she's just tough. And there's probably some reasons in her DNA that she's pretty tough, as we'll talk about that later with her father and her brother helping her develop that toughness. But I think one of the things that you and I noted in the pregame is she came out focused and driven. She had those headphones on, was in a zone, and really wanted to, you could just see, prepare her mind and her body for this game.
Foul's going to be on Evans. And kind of picking up on that point, she went and sat down on the bench for Chicago about an hour or so before the game, and Olaf Lang, one of their assistants, had been working with her outside and sat kind of 2 seats away from her and never looked at her.
Yeah.
She stared straight ahead for about 5 minutes. From the corner, Harris's jumper won't go. DeShields with the rebound. Chicago has been outstanding. Azurá Stevens has 4.
Azuré's just got, I think, such agility for her size. She's a player that I think if she can stay healthy, we're going to see a learning curve for her that is tremendous. Her potential and what she can do as we see her defend in a pretty good way. Arike, I don't know that she was the one that actually fouled Arike in that play. She wasn't. Diamond DeShields was. But this is what I'm talking about with the potential of Azurá Stevens trying to keep a player and a one-on-one player like Arike in front of her and doing a pretty solid job.
Foul was on DeShields. That is her 3rd personal foul for Diamond DeShields. Arike Ogunbowale comes in to tonight's game, number 4 in the league in scoring. Averaging just over 20 points a ball game, and the scoring leaders, Tina Charles, Jonquel Jones, Brianna Stewart, Brittany Griner round out the top 5.
Well, and one thing you can see out of that top 5, she's the only true guard in that
Good
list.
point.
All of them are, the 4 or 5 position. Brianna Stewart, you could argue, is the most positionless of them all. Jonquel Jones is getting there as well, but it's, I think, pretty notable how Arike, as a guard, has found her way into not just the scoring categories, but she's also up there with the assists, the steals. She's impacting this Dallas Wings team in a big way.
Now Quigley's got 4 points in the ball game. Dallas giving up layups to Chicago. They're going to call that an offensive foul on Alicia Gray. Looked like she hooked Dana Evans.
Well, I think official Roy Gilbane saw more of a trip, actually, which I don't see. I just don't see it. An angle that he must have had that we don't. He called a trip, but that looked like, if anything, a foul on Chicago.
Lead is 26. Dallas only 14 points so far in this ball game. They come in number 3 in the league in points per game. Chicago number 2 in opponents points per game. Parker, whistle and a foul, didn't get the basket, but will go to the line. Going to call it on Kayla Thornton.
I know Kayla Thornton doesn't like it, but that's just the veteran poise by Candace Parker as she just asked the crowd for more boos. She's okay with it. But Candace Parker, her ability to handle the ball at her size is just something that I'll never get tired of watching. And you can just see here the balance, the poise, reading the angles, and clearly she knows how to draw a foul.
201 points away from 6,000 for her career for Candace Parker. Evans, they give her the three, takes it and rattles it. Fifth from beyond the arc for Chicago in this game.
You speak of Candace Parker just at 6,000, and the next player she has to pass on that list is Becky Hammond.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find a way to talk about Becky Hammond because Azawad Kouir gets the role in the finish, but Becky Hammond needs an NBA job.
Absolutely.
She deserves it. I love what some of the players are saying about her, and I've just got to point that out, that Becky Hammond is legitimate contender for an NBA job.
Not going to get a disagreement here. Candace Parker having a big game. She's got 5 points, 4 rebounds, and a couple assists already. We've got a timeout. Chicago by a bundle here in Dallas. Typical all-star fashion, scoring 11 of her 25 points in the third to break open that game against the Sparks. The league's all-time leading scorer eclipsed 9,000 career points in the Mercury's victory, and we'll get a chance to see the 10-time All-Star against fellow Olympian Sylvia Fowles and the Minnesota Lynx. That'll be coming up next on CBS Sports Network, getting underway at 10 o'clock Eastern Time.
Dirty D. Diana.
There you go.
Shutting up any of the haters that were trying to say maybe she was supposed to be the one that was left off that Olympic roster, and letting people know that that is not the case. I don't know who you should take off that list in order to make room for Neko Gumake. There's just so many good players that it's a hard task to fill that team.
Harrison can't get a loose ball foul and go against Chicago. By the way, Chicago, 24 of their 44 points have come into paint. And one of the things Dallas likes to do is they want to protect that tunnel. Haven't been able to do it tonight, but you have to credit Chicago for that. They're making defensive stops and they're getting out and running.
Yeah, Chicago only gets 24% of their scoring from the three-point line, which is 9th in the WNBA. So they're getting the majority of their scoring from free throw line and paint area. And again, that's just a credit to the off-ball movement that they all commit to as players like Courtney Vandersloot are penetrating and attacking.
Foul's going to be on Copper. That'll be her first personal foul. 5.5 to play here in the opening half. It has been all Chicago, and Dolson trips over Awak Kouir. By the way, Awak Kouir, when she got that basket early on, that was only her second field goal made this season.
You know, it's interesting that she's in right now. This has been a player that hasn't seen a lot of minutes, and Dallas early in this game finding themselves with quite a deficit. But I think this is a great opportunity for her to be able to find a flow and a rhythm and develop in the WNBA.
6 of 7 now from the line. Second overall pick. Awak Kouir out of Finland, just 19 years of age. Played pro ball in Italy with Izzy Harrison of the Dallas Wings, and Izzy said, I'm kind of like her big sister. Gray, nice pass up ahead. Speaking of Izzy Harrison. Now, if you're Dallas, there's no such thing as a 24-point play. You just have to chip away at it. And James Wade doesn't like what he sees. He's going to burn a timeout.
I think that just gives you a little bit more evidence of the type of coaching that James Wade is doing this season with this team. He is not going to let this team get complacent as they head into this timeout with a comfortable lead.
Courtney Vandersloot averaged 10 assists a game in 2020. First WNBA player to average double-digit assists. She's having a big night tonight.
Well, listen, Vandersloot's first 500 assists in the WNBA, it took her 106 games to get there. The next 500 came in 90 games, and then the next 500, 57. She just keeps getting better. She's at 53 games to get these final two to that 2,000 number.
Chicago averaged 20 assists a game. They have 16 with 5 minutes left in quarter number 2. Parker, Awak-Kawir. Parker probably thought, I got a rookie on me.
I think that's exactly what she was thinking.
Mabry. Wings have the weapons to get back in this game. Izzy Harrison, point blank, can't finish it out. We just looked at the shot chart again for Chicago. They're getting a lot of field goals made within 5 feet. Dolson off her foot.
We're used to seeing that out of Chicago, and here's the thing that Dallas needs to do more of, and that's get them turned over, make them play in congestion, get themselves out into the open court. To cut into this 22-point lead, you're going to need a lot more possessions like that last one.
That was a pretty unselfish play, too, by Marina Mabry. She thought about the 3, but saw Gray. Rejected by Mariah Jefferson. Gray needs a little bit of help. Awak-Kawir now being guarded by Vandersloot. Big height advantage. Now Parker switches. Kawir rejected by Parker. Up ahead for the 2, Kalia Copper.
Again, just the ability to get to the open court. That's how they get so much of their scoring in the paint. It's not so much about their half-court offense. It's about what they're getting off of their defense and in transition.
Wanted to come out focused in this game, and they have. Harrison makes the save into the hands of Quigley. Quigley's pull-up 3. Jefferson up ahead. Izzy Harrison with the easy layup.
I'll tell you, as hard as it is to call one of these games, you and I, it's really hard to actually coach. No matter if you are the team that's down by a lot, the team that's up by a lot, and it's hard to play in these games because your team's blown up such a giant lead early.
Right.
How do you keep them to sustain their effort and to keep their focus and to not give in? Likewise, if you're Dallas, you've got to really see where your team's heart is. And there's over a half of this game left, which you got yourself into this situation this quickly. You can get yourself out of it, but you can't waste any time.
Again, Dallas trailed 30-11 at the end of the first quarter of play. Chicago's outscored them by 3 here in the second. Here comes Copper on the drive. Tough shot, Copper. 8 points in the ball game for the All-Star.
We're seeing one highlight play after another highlight play after this Chicago Sky team.
Oh, nice defensive play again by Courtney Vandersloot. That's a couple of times she's poked the ball away tonight. Lexi Brown's checked into the lineup for Chicago. She's got the ball, the shot, and the miss. Mabry fights for the rebound. Ends up in Chicago's hand. Brown again for 3. They'll get a third opportunity. Dallas looking to match up because Thornton had to guard Vandersloot. Parker a little no-look pass. Mad at herself.
I'll tell you what, this Chicago team's not afraid to wear their emotions on their sleeve, and we're definitely seeing a Chicago team that is not afraid to get players like Copper to the rim.
Mabry goes out. Ty Harris comes back in for the Wings. Only 11 games for Dallas remain after the Olympic break. 7 of those are home. They were counting on protecting their home court as we push to the end of this part of the season before the break. Arike Ogunbowale.
Let's talk about the success that Chicago's had on the road. They're 6-3 away from their home floor. They have really proven, I think, through their defense and their efficient offense to be a team that is not afraid to go on the road and win some games.
And because of all the injuries, they started the year 2-7. Enrique's got to come up with a save. Dallas just out of sync offensively. Gray counted and one.
When you're in these situations, you've got to have some players providing some spark, and you've got to have that spark being delivered through plays like this. Alicia Gray just weaving her way through an and one opportunity, but also you've got to get that spark from players on your bench, getting excited, showing that you are still invested in this game and excited to compete and play regardless of the scenario.
And Alicia Gray cuts into that lead down to 19, 65 seconds left here in the opening half. Vandersloot. Copper left open, jumper won't find anything but air, and Dallas will have it. So Dallas is probably looking for some type of moral victory in this final 57 seconds.
These halftimes are not often fun to be a part of if you're on the lower end of the scoreboard.
Satu can't get it. Here comes Sloot again. Oh, that's just that soft touch pass. Can't finish by Copper, and here comes Dallas. Enrique stops, lets it fly for three. Into the hands of Gray. Gets hit as she shoots. Whistle and a foul, and that's going to be on Kayla Thornton. And that'll be her third personal foul. That is her third personal foul. Well, coming up at halftime, we've got a very special feature on Marina Mabry, and we'll talk about the most improved player. Plus, we'll go down the All-Star roster and the Olympic roster. Plus, we'll have pictures and numbers from the opening half of play, all coming up on our halftime report.
See Chicago here probably work as much of this clock as possible. Although, when you're going to give Allie Quigley an open look, you don't need more clock.
No. Allie Quigley with the three. They're 6 to the ball game. Final 8 seconds. Enrique lost the handle. Now she's going to have to hurry. Gray at the buzzer. No. What a first half, though, for Chicago. 6 of 13 from beyond the arc. They shoot 57%, 18 assists on 21 baskets. And joining us now is Coach Wade. And, Coach, you talked yesterday about getting the flow back. And after the dud, you called it, the Connecticut game, that first half, I think your flow was back. Would you agree?
Yeah. We played at a good pace. We started off with more urgency. We just have to keep it there, you know. So we're satisfied with the 20 minutes. We'll look at some film and see what we didn't do well to, you know, help them go on that run. And hopefully we can come back and do the same.
Coach, talk a little bit about your team right now. Is 6-3 on the road and the performances that you all have had. What do you credit that to?
I don't know our record. You know, once we went into that streak, we just tried to take it game by game. So we're just focused on each game, and we attack each game like it's our last.
Coach, appreciate it. Thanks so much. Best of luck the rest of the season.
All right, thank you, guys.
Well, his team's got a 51-29 lead at halftime. 8-0 when Chicago leads at intermission, and they do. We'll be back with a very special look at Marina Mabry of the Dallas Wings right after the break. Double figures leading Dallas in points, and Candace Parker's done a little bit of everything for Chicago. But the big player, Courtney Vandersloot, 7 assists in that opening 20 minutes of play. Moments away from the start of the second half, along with Coach Reagan Peebley, I'm Ron Thule, and I think you got to tip your hat to Chicago. They wanted to come out. They wanted to make Dallas defend. Dallas didn't defend. That's why they got the big lead.
Their activity level is so high, Ron, and they came out here really, I think, with something to prove after that game against Washington the other night. They weren't going to allow that to be something that lingered into this game. They've come to play and compete. We're going to see here, just again, the stars really coming out to shine for Chicago. And it's their defense fueling their offense. They're taking uncontested looks. They're moving off the ball. Candace Parker is flexing her muscle. And again, we've talked about the impact Candace Parker has had for the Chicago Sky team. Winning, winning, winning is what she's brought. And this is a team that people are very afraid of right now because there are so many scores, including Copper, that you have to account for.
Let's take a look at the numbers. What really jumps out, 3-point shooting for Dallas in that opening half.
Yeah, 1 for 11 is not going to bode well for a team that gets so many points every single game, over a third of their points from the three-point line. And it's the type of shots. You can handle sometimes a 1 for 11 when they're just not falling, but these are early, contested, rush shots where the ball has not moved into other people's hands. It's not going paint out to perimeter, which is where you're going to find your higher percentage threes.
Izzy Harrison will get a start for Dallas in the second half. I think you've got to look at it from Dallas' perspective, how important these two games with Chicago will be, and also the game Monday against New York. Because you don't want to fall too far behind. All three of those teams may be battling for that fourth spot, which you get a bye in the first round of the playoffs. These are must-win situations for both teams.
Listen, this is where I think the youth, as we see Candace Parker get into her textbook fadeaway, but this is where you see the youth of Dallas come through, and nobody really wants to talk about that here in Dallas, that they're young. They want that to be an old storyline, but it's not an old storyline as Enrique gets the score going early. There is a big break coming up, and I liken this to college players as they're heading into Christmas break. Where's your focus at?
Exactly.
Are you all the way 2 feet into this arena and into this game, or are you thinking about a big break coming up and losing your focus? And we're seeing a Chicago Sky team, all the veteran focus that they have is lasered in on beating Dallas.
Vicki Johnson addressed starting the third quarter strongly. They haven't been able to do that this year. Poked out. Enrique's got it. Wanted the baseline, gives it up. Izzy Harrison lets it fly, rims out. Thornton offensive rebound. They'll get another opportunity. That's what Kayla Thornton does best. Enrique off balance, yes.
We're going to see Dallas climb back into this game. We're going to need to see one of those really special performances out of Enrique.
Dallas trailed by as many as 30 in the opening half. Let's go back to Enrique, the last basket.
She's perhaps the best one-on-one player in the WNBA. One-on-one scorer, let's just give her that. She's somebody who is nearly impossible to keep in front, and even if you do keep her in front of you, she can hit contested shots, fadeaway shots, and her efficiency hasn't always been the best this year, but she's got a long leash and is allowed to take a lot of shots, and she's going to need to finish those this half in order for Dallas to climb back into a lead.
Parker at the line. Can't get the free throw to go. Candace Parker's been a solid free throw shooter her entire career. Rebound pulled down by Copper. Satu Sabally overplaying it, reaches over the back, and Sabally whistled for the foul. That'll be her third personal foul. So Kayla Thornton with 3, Sabally now with 3 for Dallas.
You're just seeing Chicago this entire game play downhill basketball. They're in control at all times, whether they're playing a slower pace, trying to attack inside with a player like Dolphin, or they're in transition, looking at some pistol action, some flare screen action, and trying to get some shooters like Allie Quigley open. This is a team that is very, very focused on their identity right now, and you're seeing it translate into efficient basketball.
That was a traveling call. Dallas will get another opportunity. From the corner, Thornton's shot won't go down. Vandersloot. Oh, nice slip by Parker for the easy 2.
And that's just the vision and the timing and the preciseness of Courtney Vandersloot, knowing there was a mismatch, when to expose it, when to get her teammate the ball, so she's setting them up for success.
Here's Sabally. Shot clock at 7. Nice cut by Jefferson. Good pass from Satu.
More of that right there.
Yeah.
A player like Satu or Enrique has the ball in their hands. Don't stand still and watch. Cut, move, manipulate defenders.
The three won't find the range for DeShields. Whistle and a foul is going to be called against Chicago. And that's going to be on Copper.
So again, ball movement is so important, and player movement is equally important. That ball attacking the tunnel into a post-up mismatch, and then you see again, Dallas, ball in the tunnel, off-ball movement and cutting into the paint. You're gonna find great scoring options when you get multiple actions with ball movement and player movement.
Mentioned in the second quarter, this Dallas team has the firepower to get back in this game. Izzy Harrison comes flying out of the pack, and that's gonna be a foul on Chicago. That'll be on Dolson. That is her third personal foul.
So Izzy Harrison makes her money by attacking the glass, and Dolson knows that. She knows the importance of getting her boxed out, and you can see right there just the activity going to a gap instead of a back by Izzy is what's allowed her to get that foul call.
Enrique gets away from Copper. Copper covers up quickly, shot clock at 4. Enrique looks up at the clock, lets it fly, buries a 3. Wow, how many times have we seen her do that, dating back to her days at Notre Dame? Here comes Dallas on the run. Jefferson, back to Harrison, nice up and under move, can't finish, Parker pulls it away.
I mean, that just kind of sums up the night.
Yeah, but then Dallas gets another opportunity, and a whistle and a foul is going to be called. How about Enrique? Watch her take a quick look at the clock.
I know I sound like a broken record, but the more contested, the more they go in for Enrique. Yeah. And what we've seen Chicago do all night is keep length on Enrique. And that makes it a little bit harder for her to see the rim and to get a rhythm going for herself. But that time, she didn't have much of a problem with it.
Dallas chipping away at the lead. Sabally on the drive. Out the basket, and Satu will go to the line.
There's some emotion that Dallas is going to need to sustain. Satu Sabali's an all-star now, too. Don't forget about that. She says, okay, Enrique, I got you. Let me get some scoring in here and take some pressure off of you. And that's what Satu Sabali needs to assert more. Sometimes she's a little too passive, I think. She can be more of an aggressive scorer and look to instead of look for.
Dallas has outscored Chicago 12-3 here in the first 3:45 of quarter number 3. Lead down to 13. It was 30 for Chicago. Vandersloot, Hebert slips. Thornton pulls up the hand, is going to be whistled for the foul, and that'll be number 4 on KT.
You see how quick Chicago moves the ball? Nobody holds on to it. Nobody stays in one spot with the ball or off the ball for more than a second.
Right.
There's constant activity. And if you're a defensive team that is looking to rest off the ball, good luck. You're going to end up in situations like this where you're putting a team to the free throw line as much as Dallas is doing to Chicago.
And here is Diamond DeShields playing in front of her family and friends. Delano DeShields Jr. is in attendance, former Texas Ranger, now playing for Round Rock. This is the first time he has seen her play professionally in person. They're going to call that a carry against Dallas, and it'll be Chicago's basketball. And I asked her today, I said, hey, are we ever going to see your brother? He goes, well, actually, he's coming tonight.
Well, I know that she's obviously been here before, but he's had some games. He's been playing, and he's just not able to attend. The timing hasn't worked in their favor. But I love the stories about her and her brother growing up in clubhouses, saying she had a really great line where she said, I grew up around a lot of bubble gum and baseball.
There you go. I like that. After the turnover, Jefferson to Enrique, 3. Bounced around into the hands of Hebert. Oh, nice pass, Azare Stevens, the recipient from DeShields.
That's not smart transition defense to leave somebody open right at the rim to come out and attack the ball. You make them pass that, you make them shoot a mid-range. And again, the aggressiveness that we're seeing out of Satu Sabali, is so needed. And this is part of Dallas's problem, is the lack of consistency. They look so special, so elite. Plays like this with Satou Sabally just getting defenders off balance and finishing off balance layups. But again, they can look that special, and then they can look like a team that is just not focused all the way. And I think that's not an evidence of lack of talent. It's just a lack of experience.
Sabally making her first All-Star appearance in that first half. Dallas starters 3 of 13, just 8 points. Much better here in the second as they chip away at the lead. Down to 14, plenty of time left, and that's going to be a double dribble. Enrique Ogunbowale, Reagan, has done her part here in the third. She's got 12 so far tonight.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about Enrique and end-of-clock situations, and she keeps that talk going.
Number of times this season where Enrique Ogunbowale started out slowly in the first half, only to explode in the second half. That seems to be the case tonight.
Well, shoot or shoot. And she's a shooter. She's going to keep shooting and finding her way. And look, her confidence isn't built just off of 1 or 2 nice makes or big moments. She's had so many big moments like that, and just I love her confidence. She is a player that you have to give a long leash to, and she'll get more efficient. She'll get that figured out as she's developing.
Catch and shoot by Quigley. How many times have we seen her do that? That's a 3.
That action that Chicago runs is such good action for a shooter. Again, it's misdirection, pulls the ball away from her, and then snaps it right back at her.
Sabally had position because Quigley was fronting her, but the pass is errant. The lead stays at 17. If you're Chicago, are you concerned about the foul trouble a lot of your players are in?
You're only concerned if you start to see Dallas be intentional about attacking it. You got Copper, Dolson, and DeShields with 3 right now. If you get really focused and try and find those mismatches, maybe Satou and Enrique with the ball against those type of players, you can see you get one of them 4, get another one 4, and now you're going to have to go deeper into your bench.
Azare just faces up over Sabally, and Azare Stevens drops it down. Stevens, she's got 8 in the ball game. Last 2 games had a total of only 4 points. Izzy Harrison answers, but the lead is still 17, closing in on 3:45 to play here in the third. Copper is going to be fouled on the play by Harrison. That is her first personal foul. 14 penalties. Well, let's take a look at the upcoming national TV schedule. Coming up next following this game at 10 o'clock Eastern time, Minnesota and Phoenix. A couple of Olympians in that ball game, Sylvia Fowles and Diana Taurasi, of course, Brittany Griner. And then a doubleheader on Friday beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. These same 2 teams will be meeting. Chicago and Dallas, followed by Las Vegas and Los Angeles. And then on NBA TV Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern time, Connecticut at Indiana. You can go to WNBA.com, get more information on all the games being televised, including the League Pass. League goes back to 19. What would be ideal? Obviously, get the lead, but realistically, what's ideal for Dallas cutting into this league?
I think, again, Dallas has got to do a good job defensively so they can get to that open court and score quick. And that's where they're going to find great shots. But they've also got to move the ball with better pace, get second chance opportunities. Those are going to create good open looks, including from the three-point line, as we see Enrique get it right there.
Enrique 5 in that opening half. She's got 10 here in the third. Vandersloot, oh, that's a sweet dish. Azare Stevens counted. How about Courtney Vandersloot? She can take the mustard off the ball. She can rifle it into you. She has so many ways she gets the ball to her teammates. That's her 9th assist, by the way.
Well, just watch how she keeps defense constantly guessing. She drew 3 defenders in that ball screen situation. Great defensive teams only engage 1 defender in a ball screen. Pretty good, solid defensive teams engage 2, but Courtney Vandersloot has a way of engaging 3 defenders right there, and that's how she finds the open roller.
Alicia Gray tracks down the loose ball. Quigley now on Ogunbowale. They said they'd fire a lot of different people at her. Oh, Enrique again. 2 in a row from beyond the arc.
With an explosive scoring team like Dallas, with players like Alicia Gray and Enrique on their squad, you got to wonder, when does a team like Chicago start to worry a little bit? And now you got Marina Mabry on the floor as well. We know that she can get buckets up quick as well.
54 straight games for Enrique, double figures. Tough move inside, and I like Izzy Harrison with that aggressiveness to the hoop. How about Enrique, though? 2 for 2 in her last 2 shots from beyond the arc.
We've seen teams take different approaches with Dallas. Sometimes they're trying to guard everybody. And sometimes they just say, okay, Enrique is going to get hers. Let's make sure nobody else gets theirs. But no matter what you do against Enrique, she's going to score. She's going to score. She's nearly impossible to bridle in.
Harrison at the line. Last 4 games coming into tonight, Enrique Ogunbowale was 10 of 21 from 3. I'll do the math, 48%. She's 3 of 7 so far tonight. Copper's going to get a little bit of a breather.
Man, that Pittsburgh education's really paying off.
Just like, boom, like that, huh?
Well, Enrique, 53 games now is her record of double scoring streak, and that's #1 in the WNBA.
Yeah.
You wonder if she's the type of player that's ever going to see that stop.
Sure doesn't look it now. Closing in on 2 to play. Vandersloot switches sides, and Mabry takes it away. Here comes Enrique with 2 minutes to play in the third. Lead is 13. That's going to be an offensive foul call. That'll be on Enrique. Watch her left arm on the replay.
Well, we see that she attacks this baseline, and it's
right there.
Subtle, but I think that's a type of play, honestly. I don't like to be very critical of the officials, but I think that's just a type of play that you can honestly call almost every time somebody's guarded closely.
Izzy Harrison with a steal to beat Stevens, and she does.
So we've seen the 30-point lead by Chicago dwindle to 11 as Dallas continues to put the heat on, and Izzy Harrison again, twice in a row in a matter of seconds, get to the rim.
Since early in the first quarter, this is the closest Dallas has been, and they've got it in single digits.
Defense turning into offense is evidence of a team that still believes they've got time to fight into this. And what Vicki Johnson has been doing with her rotations is just trying to find a lineup that's going to create some momentum, that's going to bring the juice on the defensive end. She knows this team can score, but what are you going to give on that defensive end?
Right.
How are you going to help this team get back into this game?
Dallas has outscored Chicago 28-15 in this quarter. Want to congratulate DeWanna Bonner, Sylvia Fowles, who we'll be seeing coming up at 10 o'clock Eastern time right here on CBS Sports Network as our WNBA Players of the Week. And DeWanna Bonner, to me, watching her the couple of times we've had her this season, she is so smooth in everything she does.
Yeah, and just as somebody who's given birth to children before,
really.
Let's remember she gave birth to twins not that long ago. I know it's been a few years, but man, she just continues to impress and develop. And I think what Kurt Miller's doing with not just DeWanna Bonner, but with Jonquel Jones and all the Joneses over there is pretty tremendous.
Stephanie Dolson's checked back into the lineup for Chicago, playing with 3 personal fouls, 1:15 to play in the third. Quigley, Mabry runs into the pick. Parker posts, working on Thornton. Tough fall-away shot, no. Wings have an opportunity, believe it or not, to pull it even closer. They were down by 30.
so far. I think this is the most important minute of the basketball game to see how they close this quarter out. If they can cut into it even more and prove that they are contending to win this game and not just pretending.
As soon as Courtney Vandersloot got that ball at midcourt, her eyes were scanning behind her, in front of her, and to the sides. The Shields, they cut off the baseline. Vandersloot for three. That is big.
The crowd feels like, just like there was the offensive call on Enrique with the left arm that we showed the replay on, they felt that Diamond DeShields got away with one on that baseline attack that led to the three-point shot.
2-second difference, shot of the game clock. Mabry, Harrison slips, got it. At the buzzer, Dolson for three, no. But what a third quarter for the Dallas Wings, outscoring Chicago 30-18, courtesy of Enrique Ogunbowale.
Well, we know that there's been 9 30-point games out of Enrique, and it's going to take another one for them to get this W.
Arlington, Texas, just west of Dallas. And right now, 69-59, Chicago leads by 10. A moment ago, Reagan had a chance to catch up with Vicki Johnson, Dallas head coach.
Coach Johnson, you've got to be happy with that third quarter out of your team, the defensive effort, especially by Izzy Harrison.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Our goal was to cut it to 12. We cut it to 10, and now we got to finish the game the right way. We didn't start correctly. Defensively, we're doing a better job of getting back in transition and actually defending, and now attacking them in transition. So,
we know how important it is for you to feel that team is throwing the first punch, so good luck this last quarter.
Thank you.
You know, when you talk to players like Kayla Thornton, which we did yesterday, she said VJ has changed the culture of this Dallas Wings team. It's now on defense, and everybody here thinks as one, not as individuals. Alicia Gray to the hole.
So VJ saying that the goal of the team heading into this fourth quarter was to be down 12. They're down 10 now or down 8 entering the quarter, down 10. And you've got to believe this momentum is heading in absolutely Dallas's favor. But one of the things, if you watch basketball enough, is when there's huge deficits that your team climbs out of, can you sustain it all the way to the end? Or do you just get yourself right there and then let it go again?
Pull-up jump shot buried by Copper. Clutch three from Vandersloot, clutch two from Copper.
Copper discussing in some of her pregame interviews just how the opportunity for her, as we see Alicia Gray take advantage of the defender going underneath the screen right there. But yeah, Copper's part of her development is she's become a coach in her offseason, being an assistant coach at Pacific Northwest University. And she thinks it's just made her a better player, a better teammate, understanding coaching decisions, and probably helped her really, I think, understand what are great shots and when to take them.
Harrison faces up Parker, no place to go, shot clock inside of 10. Enrique to the hole, off the glass, doesn't get the roll. The Shields off balance, no, Harrison pulls it away. James Wade wanted a foul call, not going to get it.
We got Marina Mabry running the point guard, and I love it when she's coming off of these ball screens and she's got some of her superstars to her left and right.
The rainbow three, can't get it. Sloot with the rebound. But Marina will take that shot, and a lot of times she'll make it. 6 20-point games this year for Marina Mabry. She had one 20-pointer prior to this season.
And I know people might be critical of that shot. I can understand why. She misses it, and it's a contested shot. The officials might have missed that travel.
Yeah.
But when you know the personality of a player like Mabry, you know you need to let her take that shot. See if she can get herself going and finding that rhythm and that heat check that she's really so good at developing.
Vicki Johnson wants a full timeout to talk about it. 7:36 to play. We've got a real treat for you. 4 recently announced Olympians headed to Tokyo to represent Team USA. Phoenix Mercury guard Diana Taurasi playing in her 5th Olympics. Teammate Skylar Diggins-Smith, who'll be making her Olympics debut. Plus, Minnesota Lynx center and 3-time Olympic gold medalist Sylvia Fowles, along with forward Nafisa Collier playing in her 1st Olympics. The Lynx and the Mercury are coming up next at 10 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. May tip off a little bit later because of the length of this game. But as soon as this is over, we will send you there. Dallas had cut it to 7, 71-64 with 9:08 to play. Now down by 9 after trailing by 30. Enrique Ogunbowale. Tough shot, oh my, front of the rim. Ruthie Hebert with the rebound. She is so steady, Hebert.
A stat that I found interesting on Ruthie Hebert is she's actually Oregon's all-time leader in field goals made. And you might have thought that would have been another duck.
Yeah.
That's in the WNBA. But no, that record right there goes to Ruthie Hebert.
That is an impressive stat. Wings with a golden opportunity, have a couple of key players in foul trouble. Harrison, a left-handed shot, rebounded by Hebert. Quick outlet to Vandersloot. She wanted to get the ball to Hebert. Now she does. Hebert inside, tough.
Again, her efficiency in college, and now it's translating into the W, is incredible. She was 66% from field goal percentage her last 3 seasons.
Mabry, no, we'll try it again. Little pump fake, scoop inside. Harrison rejected by Parker. That's her 2nd block of the game. Vandersloot pull up from 15. Parker the rebound, surrounded by Wings, and a foul's going to be called. And that's going to be on Kayla Thornton, and that'll be number 5 on her.
We're seeing Parker do a really nice job this quarter against the matchup of Harrison and just contesting shots. And she's using her length, and they don't always turn into blocks like that last possession, but they've turned into missed shots, defensive rebounds for their guards. And if you're got a shot changer like Candace Parker and you're a teammate of hers, chase down the shot block. Go get that loose ball rebound and get your team into fast break offense.
See if Dallas can go back into the attack mode. Oh, nice pass over Malali. Sabali is fouled on the play, but Enrique threaded the needle.
I'd love to see Dallas be more intentional about getting these 2-man games between Satu and Enrique. It's really challenging for defenders and teams to figure out how they're going to defend that. Because Satu is a scorer, right? Enrique is a scorer. Satu can roll like we see there, get behind her defender. She can pop and create some closeouts for herself.
You've gone 3 quarters and a bunch of the 4th without saying unicorn. Where's Satu?
It's not over. It's not over.
Spoke too soon. Satu, an 81% free throw shooter, can't get the 2nd. The lead is at 10. Oh, a nice steal by Thornton. Got in front of Parker, and then Vandersloot with a steal. Has Sabali to beat, and she does. Vandersloot's 3rd steal of the ball game. Again, she's number 2 in the league in that category.
That's what I mean by Courtney Vandersloot having one of her best seasons in her WNBA career. And I don't think it's so much that other seasons she's not been as quality, but she's got quality players surrounding her, and that just takes some pressure off of her and makes things a little bit easier.
Vandersloot directs traffic. The 3, nothing but the bottom of the net for Kalia Copper. Timely shot again. That's an offensive foul. That'll go against Satu Sabali.
And there's going to be a technical.
And a technical foul is
called
going to
on.
be called, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Satu waved her off. She's frustrated. This is a frustrating game for a lot of these Dallas Wings players. And, you know, and here's one of the issues I think that Dallas has had in building consistency is how much are they going to apply the element of physicality to their identity?
Exactly.
And they've decided to get physical far too late in the game, and the officials, that plays into these foul calls. When you open the game being the aggressor, being physical, and every single one of you, you're not going to see these kind of foul calls throughout the game. But when you later adjust to it, I believe, and officials will probably disagree with me on this, that they haven't been used to seeing it for 30 minutes.
Well, Chicago on a 10-1 run since Dallas pulled within 7 at 9:08. Vandersloot looks off the defense, dishes it in the corner. Here comes Enrique. Harrison running the floor to Enrique, lowers that left shoulder. And a whistle and a foul will be called against Chicago, and James Wade's going, wait a minute, did you see that shoulder?
Well, she lowered it, but the defender didn't get in front of her. And I don't think Enrique really displaced the defender with that. All she did was initiate contact. And it was that little bit of bump that Copper initiated that got her that foul.
Copper picked up her 5th personal foul. And Enrique Ogumbawale, 20-point game tonight. 5 in the first half. But the lead is still 14. A lot of time left. The Shields. Copper tried to go baseline, and Izzy Harrison will commit the infraction. That's only her 2nd.
Izzy has brought a huge spark to this very dormant Dallas Wings team tonight. And she's had to play a lot of extended minutes right now. And this is where you see, again, sometimes a team that's fought back, they try to stay with that rotation that's gotten them in. But they lose some of their juice and their energy, and they're just not able to finish the job.
That's just a hustle play by DeShields. They'll set it up again. Vandersloot looking. Hebert slips to the left block. DeShields around the defense. Thornton, good defense, and they're going to call a foul. Kayla's going, I didn't even touch her. And that'll be her 6th personal foul, so Kayla Thornton is out.
I think one of the frustrating things about this call is just that it was a little bit later than perhaps the foul actually occurred. And the rotation of Kayla Thornton needed to have been sooner. I think she was vertical, but it becomes a tougher call for that official when you're inside that restricted arc and you leave your feet. She could have turned that into more of a charge situation had she gotten outside that restricted arc.
First time this year, Kayla Thornton has been disqualified from a game without any points, and you don't see that very often. And DeShields, she turned before that ball even went through the net. She knew it was home. 8 points for DeShields. Lead at 16, time running short for Dallas. Sabali launches the 3, buries it.
Again, 2-man action with Enrique and Satu is good offense for Dallas to run. Keep going to that well until it's dry.
Parker slipped, had Mabry on her. Vandersloot's going to be hammered. And Vandersloot's going to be very slow to give up. Courtney Vandersloot in her 11th year, 32 years old, out of Gonzaga.
We've said before that Courtney Vandersloot is not just a point guard. She's a point god. She does it all for her team. And I'll tell you, she gets a lot of credit for all those assists, but she is tough. She takes a beating.
Right. Oh, yeah.
A lot of people try to utilize length, physicality to try and slow her down, get into her vision, And she's found an answer for every kind of defense that's come at her way throughout her career.
Well, Satu Sabali is also fouled out of the ball game for the Wings. Awak Kuir getting more playing time tonight than she has in the past. Back into the lineup for Dallas. Enrique. Nice little upside to Izzy Harrison. You mentioned it, Izzy Harrison, 18 points, has been a real shot of the arm for Dallas. Even got the start of the second half.
See Candace Parker again looking to try and go one-on-one. And great read inside for her to be able to kick out, repost up. But those kind of turnovers are something that we haven't seen a lot of in this game. But against Washington, it was a problem. Proof of a team that is focused on winning is how you fix things from one game to the next.
Tonight, her 45th career double-double, 10 points and 12 assists in the ball game, kind of massaging that left thigh. She took a big spill down the other end just a few moments ago. Once again, these two teams have to play again Friday night, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on CBS Sports Network. Oh, Alicia Gray goes down hard, and so does Kalia Copper, but Gray just bounces up.
You can tell that one really hurt her, and it took a lot of guts to just hop right back up. But those two players are competitive, active players, and it looks like a foul was called on Alicia Gray.
And Enrique is pleading her case to Tiffany Bird, but it won't matter. Leah Copper will go to the line as Azrae Stevens set to check in for Chicago.
Right now,
16 points.
Sorry, Ron. Right now, there's 6 players for Chicago in double figures, and 2 other players right on the tail of double figures, and Diamond DeShields with 8 and Ruthie Hebert with 8 as well. This could be a game where we're going to see 8 players in double figures for Chicago.
I bet you it's a completely different game come Friday night. That's just my guess.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Dallas do this before, where they come out, play the first game, lose, maybe play awful basketball, and turn around next time out and really give a team a run for their money, if not just flat out win.
Bright side for Dallas been the play of Izzy Harrison, a new season high, 18 points tonight to go along with 7 boards. But again, when you get down by 30 and the closest you can get after that is 7, tough to win. Enrique, scoop, no. Close again on the final 2 minutes. Enrique trying to pick the pocket of Evans. And James Wade's going to call a timeout with 2:02 to play in quarter number 4. But Dallas a little frustrated right now.
I think James Wade is using this as an opportunity to settle down some of his younger players. He's got a rookie point guard out there. He's making a substitution. And I love this about James Wade. He's a teacher, I think, by nature. He came from the lineage of Dan Hughes, who's a teacher. We know VJ as well from that coaching tree. But what I love is that he knows the importance of getting this younger group, less experienced group, caught up. Because this team, I think, is a team that everyone has to recognize can compete for a championship. And you never know in those moments, in playoff runs, how important that bottom end of your bench is going to be.
Astu Ndu-Fall is checked into the lineup, the former Dallas Wing. 2 former Wings on the court now for Chicago. Here is DeShields. Working on the rookie. Awak Kuir takes her to the hole. DeShields goes in double figures, and there's another one for you, Coach.
Yeah, 7 players right now for Chicago in double figures.
Harrison looking for 20. Got it. Major bright spot for Dallas coming in when Charlie Collier played only 3 minutes in that opening quarter for Dallas. Got kind of faked out by Stephanie Dolson, and that got her a place on the bench.
I think what we're seeing out of Izzy Harrison is really just evidence of the character in this woman. We always see Izzy Harrison step up big in tough moments. She is a fighter. She's a competitor. She loves her team. She'll never roll over. And whether she's on the floor or she's on the bench, you see a consistency in the energy that she's going to bring to her squad.
Harrison inside, counted. Izzy Harrison with 22 with an opportunity to tie her career high.
Again, what Izzy Harrison does right here is make a quick decision before a student or can really get into a position to guard her. And her activity level is so high on both ends of the floor. And I really believe that Izzy Harrison has yet to reach her potential. The health of her this season is a big reason why we're seeing this kind of confidence and success.
I agree 100%. She has tied a career high of 23 points in the ball game. We go inside of 57 seconds. Azrae Stevens for three. Last two games, she was just 2 of 9 for 4 points total. But the Wings come back and answer, but it's going to be a little too late for Dallas. Don't get the rematch Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on CBS Sports Network. Enrique with the rebound.
You can hit that shot. I saw her in warm-ups nail 3 in a row from 7 different spots, and she probably shot from that three-point line about 70% in her warm-ups. That's definitely a shot she can hit.
And here is Enrique. 20 points in the ball game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Again, came alive in the second half. How much tape, if you're Vicki Johnson, do you watch of this game with your team tomorrow?
Well, I don't think you necessarily watch where you, one approach, let me say it this way, you can have is watch the opening probably 4 or 5 minutes. This is a team that's got to be able to build that consistency in how you start games. And we've seen it come out hot and aggressive and really cold and passive. And they're at their best, obviously, when they come out throwing that aggressive first punch. And they've got to learn the flow of that and the activity level that it's going to be required in order to do that.
Well, the Wacouir comes up with a big-time rejection. Chicago still has it. Azrae Stevens inside. No. And that's going to do it. Well, Vicki Johnson says she has a 24-hour rule. You think about this game for 24 hours, then it's over. But it was a tough one, but an outstanding game for Chicago. They end up shooting 48%, but the big story, 28 assists on 34 made baskets. Let's update the standings. We talked about those at the top of the show, and now Dallas will fall a little bit farther behind Chicago.
Prior to this game, they were sitting 5th in the league, but again, everything is so tight you could see anything happen.
We come back on the other side of the break. We'll talk to Courtney Vandersloot. Stay with us here in Dallas. In the final score, 91-81, Chicago beats Dallas. And coming up next, following this game, we'll have Minnesota and Phoenix. But joining us now, Courtney Vandersloot, another double-double tonight. She ends up incredible. 10 points, but also 12 assists. Courtney, outstanding game. Your court vision, though, blows us away. I mentioned on the air, when you got a rebound, you look up immediately. Left, right, behind you, all over.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's my job. I'm running the floor. I think we're really good in transition, and that starts with me. You know, I really want to pick up the pace, but to pick up the pace, you know, I got to get the ball up and to my wings, and that really starts our transition.
Courtney, your team right now, obviously in the last 11 games, 8-3, and you're 7-3 on the road. What do you credit that road success that your squad's got?
Well, I think it was a little bit of timing. You know, when we were really struggling with injuries and our roster was a little down, we were at home a lot, and unfortunately we weren't protecting our home floor. But and also, you know, just a different type of focus when you come on a road. You know, teams are comfortable at home, so we just got to lock in, and we're trying to win games on the road, and that'll help us down the stretch.
What's a part of the Chicago Sky squad right now that you feel like if we could just fix this one little thing, now we could get real serious about what our potential's at?
I think definitely turning the ball over. I think that's kind of been our Achilles heel is when we take care of it, we score a lot of baskets. And, you know, I think you saw tonight at points when Dallas makes their run, it's basically off our turnovers. So if we take care of the ball, I think we can really take it to the next level.
Courtney, we appreciate you taking some time with us. We had so much fun tonight. How about we do it again Friday?
Okay, that sounds good. I'll see you guys here.
Courtney, thank you so much. Along with Reagan Peebly, I'm Ron Phillips. She still blows me away. But I think if Chicago, you get the 30-point lead, but they got the big shots when they needed it at the end.
They did. And again, Courtney Vandersloot has a lot to do with that. But her teammates have just completely bought into what she can do for this team, their off-ball movement, their activity level on the offensive end. But let's not forget what they do on the defensive end, Ron. This is a very underestimated team, I think, on that defensive end of the floor. I'm
anxious to see Friday night when these two teams will meet again. 8 o'clock Eastern time right here on CBS Sports Network. Once again, the final score, 91-81. You can see these two teams again on Friday night. So for Reagan Peebly and our entire crew at Arlington, Texas, I'm Ron Thulin. Thanks so much for watching. And now we send you to Phoenix, Arizona for the Phoenix Mercury and the Minnesota Lynx.